Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 511. I feel like this episode is more exciting than episode 500.
There's a lot going on. Let's do some ground rules. Number one is we are recording in a different place, so it may sound a little different.
Yes.
Normally we turn off everything in our house, so you don't hear like the refrigerator. But we are live from
Live recorded.
our roaster building.
Yes, and we have a refrigerator and a freezer here.
And there's equipment on that we're not going to turn off. But we're glad to be here. Okay, yes. There's a lot happening. So this was our opening weekend for our coffee shop.
We opened.
As we talk, there are people 1 block away drinking delicious coffee. And,
and eating delicious snacks.
And I'm watching our numbers because I have access to like the cash register.
Watching
and I'm,
like, it live.
Watching the money roll in. So anyway, let's talk about that. It's interesting, and I am going to connect it to eBay because eBay is how we became business people.
Right.
You know, before that we worked for other people, just like had career jobs.
We did do work for ourselves.
Then we became like freelancers, or kind of like freelancers / like contractors, you know, where we had like a little company, but basically we were just hiring out our time.
Right.
And that's a little different.
It's a little bit different.
We weren't selling anything. And I will say the process of opening up this coffee shop has made me appreciate eBay even more.
Yep.
And also to realize how incredible the business is of eBay.
Right.
It's incredible. You can make millions of dollars. No, okay, let's talk about it. Okay. And I don't know if Ryan's going to post some photos, but if you go to scavengerlife.com, there could be some photos.
I wasn't going to post some photos because the internet exists and you should just go to Instagram.
Okay, there you go. There. We will link to our Instagram wherever they are. Go. I will say there were a couple scavengers that showed up to
Yes, I did want to mention that.
I think I'm saying her name. Joelle was there, who I'd never met before, but I talked to her online. Okay. She was with her family from Delaware. I don't know if she came down just for this or if she just happened to be hiking, but she came. She kind of told me her story. I didn't have a lot of time for her. I apologize, but thank you. Busy. And Rob, who lives in kind of the next county over, he showed up too. And if there's anybody else, thanks. You know,
and if anybody else showed up and we weren't there at the moment, we're sorry, we missed you.
Yep. Okay. Coffee shop.
Yeah.
Versus eBay. Mm-hmm. Help me think this through. Number one, the coffee shop. Lots of fixed costs just to keep the door open.
Right.
You know, and when I say coffee shop, it's like it's our roastery. Yeah. We have 2 coffee shops. It's a lot of money just to keep the doors open.
Right.
It helps we own the buildings.
Yeah.
So that's nice, but it still costs money.
Well, owning a building still costs money.
Yeah. The need for a lot of manpower, people power, not manpower, people power.
Person power.
At this one coffee shop here in our town, we have 10 employees.
Yeah, and they're not all full-time. No. You're not all 10 of us standing around.
But to be able to fill 7 days a week of someone having to open the door and stand there and be ready to help a person come in, and it's a lot. The good thing about coffee, we make pretty good margins on each item, you know, because because we make the own coffee. It's like, you know, but it's low selling cost, you know, whereas selling things, I think the most expensive thing that you can buy from us is $6.
Right.
I mean, you can buy
single. Yeah, you can buy 2 of those.
Handful of things, but like, yeah. And so it really is a volume business.
Right. It's volume.
eBay.
Yes.
Low fixed costs.
Right.
Like, it's just in our house.
It's not just in our house, but
just in our house.
If you want to have storage, that costs money, but it doesn't cost very much money.
Well, but you know, we built a building behind our house, but that was a one-time cost.
Right.
And then,
that's what I'm saying. And also that for us, that adds value to our house and our property. So you're not just like renting us.
But for our eBay business to be on, it doesn't really cost us a lot of money.
Right. It's eBay fees.
Right. Yeah.
And
right, you know,
and a helper. I do have a helper.
Right.
Still pretty low. One helper. Part-time. Very part-time.
Awesome profit margins.
Amazing.
You know, and this is where like Scavenger.
Yeah.
That's why we talk about scavenging, because that's really where it's at.
Yeah.
You find things that are valuable.
Right. For 25 cents.
$1, even $5. You know, $5. I mean, and then you sell that thing for 20, 30, 40,
100.
I mean, those are incredible. You know, I mean, I always knew that, but being in this coffee business, I'm like, okay, so it costs us, you know, 30 cents to make a cup of coffee, and we sell it for $2. I mean, like, that's pretty good margins.
Yeah,
but I'm like,
you're like, I gotta sell a lot of those.
I found this thing for $1. I'm selling it for 30. Like, oh wow, like that's much different.
Yeah, well, you know, I think I sold a set of plates or something. It was last week. I sold 6 dinner plates for $100. Right. And you're like, this was just sitting on a table at an auction lot that I bought for $50 for, you know, it costs almost nothing. And it's $100.
So why are we even doing this? Why do we even have a coffee shop?
There are many reasons. None of which I can think of right now. No, I'm just kidding. I know exactly.
I know the reasons. I'm asking because I know the answer.
Yeah, okay.
So, because this is how, okay, there's first just like the emotional love of doing this coffee shop. Like, it's enjoyable. Like, I like sitting on eBay. It's fun.
Yeah.
You know. But eBay's like it's kind of like the Star Trek. It's given us like the Star Trek life, right? Like, the interesting thing about Star Trek is they've come to a point where like everyone has all their daily needs met,
right?
And then the whole thing is and then everyone is pursuing the thing that they're interested in,
right?
Yeah,
pretty much.
I guess isn't that kind of what Star Trek is about?
Sort of. I mean,
it's like there's a thing.
They are a military ship exploring the universe. Like, that's like kind of
right, but I think that's. But isn't that the like foundation of Star Trek, where like you just there's a thing that makes
a replicator.
Food. No one makes money. Like,
I love the replicator.
They're not making money anyway.
Yeah.
What am I talking about? I'm just saying eBay has allowed us. It makes us enough money to live. It doesn't take a whole lot of work.
Right.
And then eBay's allowed us to kind of do this coffee business.
Yeah,
you know? Like, this is what we wanted to pursue. We could not do this because we would be in a job somewhere making money.
Right.
You know? So eBay's allowed us to do this. So, yeah, the coffee business, I think, is fun for us right now.
Okay. Right? I just think it's funny you started with that. I mean, the reason we did this was because we wanted our town to have it. Right. Right? I mean, that was the number one reason.
No. There's a lot of reasons, but I think it has to be fun. Like, if this is not enjoyable to us, we would not do it. Number two, we think our community needs it.
Yes.
And so it's good that it's fun, and then it's like a cake, and then the other cake on top of that first layer of cake is, I think it's our town needs it, and we
wanted it for our town desperately.
But number three, so third layer of the cake.
Can I eat some of this?
Because I'm hungry. We're going to eat after this. I think we can make money off of this.
Yes.
And so I'm not even talking to the podcaster. I'm talking to you. You know, even though selling a cup of coffee, we're not like getting rich off of that. The cool thing is we have this roaster business.
Yes.
It's like the engine.
Yes.
And then so there's fixed costs just to keep that happening.
Yeah.
But then we have 2 coffee shops now. We're thinking about opening up a third.
There is a third one on the way.
And so we sell a lot of coffee. And we have the online sales.
Yes.
And we have wholesale. That's how it works.
Right.
Like, if we just had this one coffee shop, it would be a lot of fixed costs to keep one shop open to sell one cup of coffee.
Right.
You know?
Oh, yeah. Right. So
that's how it works.
Well, it's like with eBay, it's volume.
Right.
In a way. I mean, it's uniqueness and scavengerness and frugalness.
It's more like Amazon in a way, right? Or is it
I don't know anything about, honestly, Amazon. Yeah. I don't know. But like with eBay, we always say get your numbers, your listings up of cool stuff that you think is interesting, and then you get some sustainability.
Yep. Okay, let's talk about eBay. This happened to be a slow week. We didn't sell a whole lot, and everything we sold was relatively low dollar. I've heard other people kind of saying the same thing. So
yeah.
I don't know.
The volume was slow too, like just the number of sales. Like there were a few days where I couldn't pack things because we were just opening a coffee shop, and you know, by the time I got to it, I was like, "There's not as much stuff here as I thought there would be," you know. Yeah. But there were a couple high dollar items, like I said, plates, a couple sets of ceramic stuff, but yeah, pretty average.
Yeah. I don't know which stuff that is. I think that might have been last week.
Oh, really?
Or like the last week.
Oh, like yeah.
Okay, so we sold. I know the numbers. We sold 22 items. Oh. The week before we sold 36.
22.
So our gross sales, that includes eBay fees, shipping taxes, $1,046.33. That sounds okay, right?
Yeah, but after
take away the fees and the shipping. $725.
Oh my god, that's one of the honestly, that's one of the lowest weeks we've had in a because one of our lowest weeks was $800, and we were like, what the heck?
We like to, and we seem to regularly make at least $100 a week off of our little Star Trek business.
1,000.
1,000.
You said.
Okay, we normally get 1,000.
Like
on our little Star Trek business, right? And so it was just slow. Could be reasons. I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think people getting out in the world, you know,
could be. Yep, that could be it.
Or it could just be no one wanted our junk this week.
None of this garbage is selling.
That's a hard thing to accept sometimes.
Yeah.
Things we sold. So our highest item was a batch of greeting cards, you know, like old vintage.
Yes. I was like, what?
And we sold 5 of them for $100. So ephemera.
Yeah, it was ephemera. We had got this box of ephemera over in the next town over in the next big town over from our town. And I was like bidding this person up. I was like, I want this because it's all these letters and ephemera from our town. And they had all these unused greeting cards from the 40s.
Crazy.
But they're not like cheesy, like Hallmarky, like weird cards. They were like this little artwork of fairies and stuff.
People love angels.
I mean, it was angels, fairies, little baby, like.
Hadn't the brand been like
Brownie?
Brownie.
It's called Brownie. They were unused, which is so neat. Like I think someone would frame them. So the cool thing was, this person messaged me and was like, I want like 5 of these. Can you combine shipping? Of
Absolutely.
Course, eBay does. I'm like, I don't even know how to do that because it's like these tiny little cards that are weigh nothing, and it's charging her like $25 for shipping. Wow. I said, just buy it all. As soon as you're done buying she bought 5. I was like, I'll just refund you the difference. So I went in. I was like, it's going to cost $6 to ship. I'm sorry, it won't even cost that much. It'll cost like $3 or $4 to ship. So I just refund. Like, you can go in with managed payments, which everyone taught me how to do this. I'm like, I don't even know how to do that. There's a drop down menu, send refund. So I did like a postage. I was like, here's your $20 something back. But that was a nice sale because it's someone. I feel like I just had this idea this week. Sorry, I'm rambling a little bit.
It's okay.
I feel like eBay needs to do promotions of shopping in people's stores. Like, I feel like other places are into that, like Poshmark. Like, you're shopping in someone's closet, they call it. And I feel like it's so rare. Someone else did it this week. They bought a pair of shoes and a set of like vintage nail polishes. Right. That almost never happens. Right. I know we have really bizarre stuff where it's like China and shoes.
Even when I shop on eBay, it's just like I do a search term
for the thing you
like
want.
Cool pants or whatever. And so, and I'm just going through and I see a pair of pants and I don't even think about that this person might have
anything else.
All this other stuff. And then I'll be like, and then I want a shirt. And then I just buy a shirt from somewhere else.
Right. But, so I have in the past, if I was looking for some sneakers or something from someone and I was like, this is a really good price and it seems like she's just selling her own stuff and she's my size. So I like went in and looked at her store, but it's so rare. I think also part of it is it is really hard to combine shipping. There's just these like barriers to do it on our end and also on like the buyer's end. I just don't. You can request a total from a seller. Hey, I have 5 things in my cart from you. Request total, and it almost never works. So because there's some setting that's like turned off. But I feel like that's something that should be promoted more with eBay, where you're like, oh, you're a vintage collector. I have 8,000 items in my store. There might be something else that I could get to you in one box for cheaper. Yeah. So that's my thought for the week.
I think that experienced quote unquote people that buy on eBay know that,
I know.
But I just think that the random person who's shopping, eBay doesn't really...
They don't promote it.
Yeah.
And they don't make it easy for either buyer or seller.
Yeah, it is very rare. Yeah. I mean, having sold on eBay now since 2008, it is a very rare thing for someone to buy multiple things from us.
Yeah, it's super... And when it happens, you're like, yay.
Yeah, I mean, it's very exciting when it does happen. But
now, look, the argument is there for free shipping. So you're like... If somebody wants to buy 10 things from your shop, they just do free shipping. But again, someone's buying this like big vase from me. I just can't do it's so hard with stuff like that. Like it's almost impossible. But
I mean, and there could be too, because like you said, we do sell a lot of just random, weird, unconnected items.
Right.
Whereas I bet that, what's his name that sells all the postcards?
Right. He probably
is always selling multiples because collectors know, like, oh, I just got all the postcards from my town,
Exactly. So there's, I know there's ways to do it, but not easily for people who sell a pair of heavy shoes with nail polish.
I mean, so speaking of the other kind of big sale, was we sold 2 postcards for $50.
We did. Speaking of postcards,
ephemera.
We sold 2 postcards to the same person. I forget what one was like the Grand Tetons, and one was I forget what the other one was. But they were travel postcards, vintage like 1950s. They had the date on the back. It was like 1952. Yeah, which is kind of neat.
Scavenger of the week, we still have not, we're kind of not in the buying mode right now. I will say I've talked to several scavengers that have told me how they, because a lot of people have gone to buying at auctions online because of the pandemic. And so, and how auction prices really have gotten crazy.
Well, you said this and we've heard it from other people where like either people are getting into this business because of the pandemic or they're just collectors who are like, I used to work all day and now.
I mean, every week there are several auctions that, we normally buy from that I will open up their auction and I'll start to keep track of certain items and I'll get excited by them. Yeah. And then as it gets closer, the prices just get so out of hand. Yeah. I just don't pull the trigger.
Just like forget it.
And I just think it could be just because everyone is being, like all the scavengers are being pushed to these online auctions. Right. But I think also there's just like normal people that are realizing that there are these places to buy cool stuff. Yeah. What's interesting is that 2 auction houses I know of, I'm pretty sure are just going to stay online. I mean, these were like in-person auctions. They did not do online auctions.
They're like
I think they've decided because they've hired extra staff. They've built a system of taking pictures, and I think they've realized they're making so much more money selling stuff online. I want to see if that remains the same, because I think as the world opens back up, half the fun of auctions are going in person, and I wonder if the auctions that open back up and allow people in start pulling in the people.
Yeah, because you want to go
and people stop going online to buy stuff.
It's a different experience when you can look at an item, and pick up an item, or walk around a table. That is so different than just staring at some auction houses, one photo. And again, like you said, the experience for us is going there. I hate going there because I hate being there for 6 hours. It's just a lot.
Well, we've done pretty good where we kind of know when the time is to buy, and we go, and there's about 3 hours.
You can do it in 3 hours.
Everything, because the places we go to, they have it's in 2 parts.
Right.
The first part is boxes of stuff, lots, tables of stuff, kind of the quote unquote cheaper stuff.
Yeah.
And that's normally to people like us. It's like other people that have thrift stores.
Buying in bulk.
And then there's always a pause. And then there's a second part of the auction where it's the individual, nicer stuff.
They pulled stuff out.
And that's where there are also collectors there as well, but there's also just normal people. And so we often skip that part because...
there are times where we've stuck around where we're there's something there we want.
But normally we buy so much in the first part.
The truck is full.
We're
we got enough.
Yeah, we're good.
Yep.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It's interesting because I feel like the pandemic just really swung things a different way in a lot of obviously the entire world changed, but so many things that we take part in changed. The real estate market is insane. It just going out to eat and going to a coffee shop.
Right now is just not a good time to buy anything. Buying a used car.
I know. I've been looking at
buying a home. Buying, it's just buying, if we wanted to build a house, just construction supplies are crazy. It's just now's the time to hope you have everything you need, which we do. I'm glad we have a bunch of stuff we can eat into and sell.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, customer issues. We have had a couple of painful returns opened.
Yes, they haven't returned stuff yet.
Managed Payment does that thing now where and it's good, they tell you holding, how much they're holding on hold.
PayPal held your money too.
Right, but I guess Managed Payments, I do they are making the panels more easy to read.
Okay.
And so, we have $200 on hold. And I'm oh, painful.
Yeah, somebody bought a piece of jewelry and they were oh, this isn't what you said it was. It's just glass, which I actually think is not true. Right. I'm that's not, this is not glass.
Yeah.
But go ahead and return it. I'll sell it to someone else. Yeah. What was the other one?
Is a lamp or something, both left side. I don't know.
Okay. Well, it's just, it is painful where you're I sold something for $100.
Oh, it was those porcelain towel rack bars.
Oh, these porcelain. Okay. So the porcelain towel rack bar things, which, this sucked. They were so you need 2 brackets, and they were both left-hand brackets. But I did mention that in the thing. I was I don't know. You could mount these somehow if you are handy. I said great for a DIYer, but they're 2 left side mounts.
But that's a good thing that we've learned. Look, we know this. You can put anything you want in the description.
Item not as described.
But we'll see. We'll see if they return it. It's just on slow weeks, returns are even more painful.
Yeah.
Things we learned in the forum, I mean, people just kind of, there's a crew that just seems to keep plugging away. And like the lady I met in our coffee shop yesterday from Delaware, I mean, she said she started like a hobby seller, and then she started to just list and hold, and she now has 300 items in her store. There you go. And she seemed real happy and doing well.
That's the way to do it.
Yep. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, I feel like I barely checked my email or, like, saw anything on the computer, so I'm like, what were people talking about on the forum?
But it's good, though. We've now opened our shop. I think we are figuring out like how we all work together.
Right.
I mean,
who does what every day.
Our two partners who are handling the kind of day-to-day front of house, they're there right now, serving coffee, training the staff. Like, it's still going to be another couple of weeks, especially for them, of like getting all that stuff locked down and people trained. But we're trying to support them as much as I could. I mean, like, I got up early, got up at 6. I got here at 7:00, and I went and helped them in the shop, and then when they open, I'm just like a block away, and they like text me, I need more milk, I need more this.
Especially opening weekend.
Right, and so I'm just here to support them, and we'll keep doing that.
Well, and I'm looking over at our coffee reserves and our big bins, and I'm like, we are low. Like, tomorrow we're roasting, and I'm like, we are out of everything, which is great. We want to be out of everything. I mean, we want to roast more.
It's just like we say, when you have a lot to pack for eBay,
it's a luxury problem.
If we have a lot of laundry to do, it means we're
busy
because our beds are being turned over at our rentals. And if we need to roast a lot of coffee, it means we're selling.
We sell a lot of coffee, so that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
So let's take calls.
Yes.
We can get a voicemail. The phone number is 540-407-8486. Or you can email us an audio file from your phone. Our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com.
Hey, Jan Ryan. This is Malika calling in from North Carolina. I just wanted to address the situation that y'all were talking about last week about needing to reship the item, and you made the custom listing in order to bill the customer for it and all of that stuff. I just wanted to tell y'all that was not necessary. I think y'all are mixed up the whole sharing of details with your email address. It's the thing that gets flagged is when you try to send it before a transaction has taken place. If you try to send an email address before, it'll get flagged. If you do it after a transaction, after eBay has taken their fees, there is no problem. And I will give you a case that literally just happened maybe a month or two ago. There was a buyer that it was like a toaster oven or something, and he said that there was something wrong with it. It wasn't working. Okay, so I gave him, I refunded him. I refunded him for it. Then he emails me like a couple of days later and say, "Oh, we got it working. How can I send you your money back?" No. Matter of fact, it wasn't the whole amount. It was like less than what it was, but I was just happy to get anything for it, so I don't just, lose money for the whole transaction. So all I said, he asked me, he said, "So can I send it to your PayPal?" And I said, "Sure." And I said, "You can send it to my email address." And I sent him my email address. He sent me the payment through PayPal. Case closed, no problem. eBay did not flag. It's been a couple of months. If it was a problem, they would have told me about it. It did not get flagged. I have had emails flagged before. This is a long time ago. It did not get flagged. I'm telling you, y'all did not have to go through all of that drama. eBay is only a problem if before a transaction, if contact details are shared. After a transaction, it's no problem. You can still arrange payments and all of that stuff. I'm not talking about, you arranging to sell something off of eBay. I'm talking about simple things like, billing after the fact. It's totally okay. And I just wanted to let y'all know that you didn't have to go through all of that.
So this is interesting because we got several people not just calling us, but also on the forum say that we were doing it kind of more complicated than it needed to be.
I guess I was just super paranoid because, I just, stopped sending any information about email or Venmo or whatever, because I feel like I don't want to, have eBay accidentally suspend me or whatever.
Right.
I mean, I don't think they would do that. That seems kind of extreme, but I don't know. So I guess now I can just be like, this is my PayPal address. Yep. I thought that saying PayPal and invoice and email was
I wonder if once
flags.
it's kind of like Airbnb does this.
Yes.
Once somebody books, the transaction has happened, then Airbnb allows us to trade phone numbers, and I can do links to places to go. But before they book, if they just do an inquiry, I can't do any emails. I can't do any links to anything.
Phone numbers.
It strips it all out.
It doesn't even strip it. It's blocked by Airbnb. Right. It says you're
so
cool.
I wonder if eBay is the same way. As soon as the item is purchased, then they don't care.
Okay, so honestly, that's really good advice because it was such a pain to have to read. It's just Venmo me $12, or whatever, PayPal me $12, and I'll remail it. So thank you.
Hey, Jane, Ryan, Marty in Santa Barbara County, California, replying to your feedback from last week about my Italian silk lampshades. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, these are definitely not those types of items that you've talked about in the past. I can find images and I can find recent comps or sold items in eBay's history. So these aren't totally rare. I think the hesitancy with me is they're very expensive and I don't want to blow it. And I think asking you guys is going to help me do it better. But in reality, I think what I'm looking for is your anecdotes and your feedback so that I can understand your thinking process and hopefully help me make my thinking process faster, better. And another example. Recently I listed Chanel sunglasses for $170. The comps or sold items were indicating they'd be maybe worth $120 to $140. But I kept getting offers for $60 and $70. Why? Is it because of that style is just, even though the quality and the condition indicates it might be $120 or $140, maybe that fashion, that particular style is not as valuable to people as that other one. Or is it a reseller trying to offer me a lower price so they can resell it? I don't know. There's no real right answer. I just got to either decide to take the offer or not, and I took it. After a couple of tries at getting it higher, I couldn't get a higher price. I took it. All right. Thanks very much. Good luck on that coffee shop. Goodbye.
Well, I think that's similar. Look, that mentality is similar to what we do too. I mean, there are times where I'm really holding firm on something. I'm like, I really want a high price for this. I think it's really special. And then there are times where I'm like, I really want a high price for this. Nobody thinks it's worth that much. I've gotten so many offers that are, $50 or $60, like you're saying, not 120. I obviously overpriced this and I want to get rid of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It depends on the situation. I mean, look, with your silk lampshades, you could put them up at $5,000.
Sure.
Make offer. Right. Start talking to people. If people are like, yo, this is not worth $5,000, but I will give you $3,500. I mean, obviously you said you'd be thrilled with that. Or maybe they're worth, $1,000.
Yeah.
It's still, you're like,
I've always said that the make offer is just like a reverse auction.
Yes. Right.
So an auction, I start at the lowest amount I'll accept, hoping people bid it up.
Right.
Although the danger there is no one bids it up, and the first person who bids on it wins. And then, the reverse auction is I start at the highest I want.
Right.
And then I'm willing to accept any lower offer, but I don't have to. So I'm not forcing it. It gives me all the control.
Yeah.
So I started $1,000 and then people start offering me 500, and then I'm like, okay, everyone's offering 500. I guess maybe that's it. But then there could be someone's at 750.
Right.
750, so that's a nice thing. I don't get, I don't feel like I get cheated at any moment.
Because you have the control, like you said. What I love is when people ask, what's the lowest price you'll take? That's classic. Right. I'm like, the price that's on there, that's the lowest price I'll take. The exact
price that you see is what I will take.
But lately, I've been getting that question on super low dollar items. $11 pair of shoes I've had for 5 years. What's the lowest you'll take? No lower than $11 at this point. Like, are you kidding me? It's just like, come on.
Yeah.
Hey y'all. I called a couple weeks back about how to price items, and I appreciate you guys' response. I asked a lot of questions and you took a lot of time to answer, so thank you for that. But it seems to have generated conversation. Of course, I've heard some other calls. So here are my thoughts after hearing you guys talk, and I've kind of come to this realization, and I think it might be helpful for newer people too. We have sort of built up our store over, 2 years with the mentality of just get a lot of volume. And, my partner, my husband that I run this business with, he's into totally different kind of things than me. He does like video games. He likes getting VCRs. He likes VHS tapes. I am nerd toys, and I'm like pottery. And also I'm just like, whatever's going to sell, let's do it. And so I've realized that I'm trying to split my mind. There are certain items that, we need to price well and we need to sell quick. And then there's certain items that, I have to be okay to sit on and want to sit on for a long time. And I have found that as we have now built up our inventory, we have almost 1,000 items now. I think we're about to cross the 1,000 threshold. And we have enough like little sales to sort of sustain ourselves that it's so much easier to like list it and forget it, or get items that are valuable and hold on to them until somebody is willing to pay the dollar amount that you want. So I guess that's my advice to people is that, if you can get cheap inventory and you can list a lot of volume is going to bring you money if you have room to store stuff, but volume is going to bring you money to sort of sustain, so it's easier to wait out on those items that could bring you more money in the long run. So just something interesting maybe to talk about and think about. So thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
I mean, I think she wrapped it up very well.
Yeah.
That's exactly how to do, like you take the time to list, Then once you have a lot of items in your store, then we can be more patient because then we have enough stuff where something is always selling.
I mean, that's the thing that we're always saying. Something sells every day. Like those shoes and that nail polish that person like combined shipping with, those shoes were so old. I was just like, I don't even remember they were at the bottom of the bin. You're just like, wow. But I didn't know when those were going to sell. And then, that set of plates, I listed those like 4 months ago and they sold. Yeah. And, there's stuff. It's funny. I was going through my phone. I had taken some extra photos of like close-ups of things that I needed on items. And I was like, just from the last couple months, like since January. And I'm like, oh, that's sold. Geez, this stuff's selling, It's like.
Plus, I think she's right that there are items that do not work this way.
Right.
Like there are items that are like commodity items or items that just have a very clear price where, I can't price it for $50 when everyone's selling it for $20.
Yeah.
And I can wait forever, and they will never sell that much because $20 is just the price.
That's the price for a commodity item.
Because the stuff's being made again and again and again.
You're like, you can buy it at Best Buy. That's what it is.
What we're talking about is commodity items. And Ryan and I, we do bicker about that sometimes. It's just like, I'm like, this
is that the price?
This like iPhone is not going to get like we have to sit on this for 20 years before it's going to become valuable again.
Yeah.
But right now, like iPhone 3s or whatever, like this is what they're worth, you know.
Yeah, iPod Touch original.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for the call.
Cool. We are going to go. We're going to walk over. I don't know if Ryan knows this. We're going to walk into our coffee shop and we're going to have lunch coffee together.
Lunch coffee / snack / lovely delicious.
We're just going to sit there and enjoy the atmosphere and see who walks in.
We hope you guys walk in someday.
Yeah.
Some of you already have.
Yeah. All right, this podcast is ending in
3, 2, 1, bye.